And she just made it very clear we can't talk about it. Her staff made it very clear we just can't talk about it right now because that wouldn't work here in Missouri. And of course, all you people watching right now on the Missouri Firearms Coalition page knows what they're talking about. Guns is a big freaking deal in Missouri, and that's not an easy way to get reelected, coming out supporting radical gun control. But of course, in Claire's case, there's no secret here. Everybody knows where she stands. Everybody knows what she's done in the past. So it's the worst kept secret in Missouri politics. But it was pretty cool to see. I mean, they have her on tape, and she's like, "Oh yeah, ban him, take him. Oh yeah, I'd vote for this crap." And
I voted for in the past.
Yeah, they talked to one of her staffers. See here, Deputy Field Coordinator Rob Mills. He says she doesn't go out there openly and support it like Moms Demand action groups or stuff like that, because that could hurt her ability to get reelected. So it's very obvious. I mean, another staffer, Nicholas Starrest, said that Obama and McCaskill are like this, on everything, not just gun control. He said, Claire has to distance herself from the party. It's going to help her win more votes. We can't say, oh, here's Obama, the former president, to speak on my behalf, which is unfortunate because I'd love to have him here. I love him to pieces. People are also weird.
Gross.
Weird. They have hog arms. It's just gross.
Even his name sounds kind of like
they went on to say, so essentially we have to lie. They're like, well, essentially, yeah, we have to lie. And it's just, so it's what we've always known to be the case. These people are consummate liars. They're absolutely partisan-driven hacks. This has nothing to do with representing the people. They have an agenda, and they're going to do it no matter what it takes to get it done. If that means they lose their elections, then they're willing to lose their elections. So kind of interesting video. There's part 2 and 3 were released, I think, yesterday. Her talking about abortion or about healthcare, various hot button issues in Missouri. But just insofar as anybody still thinks these people actually care what they think or actually care what you believe in, it's not the case at all. They're going to choose when to talk about it.
Here's a question for the listeners right now. Was anybody shocked by this whole thing? Oh, it comes out Claire McCaskill is anti-gun. I don't know.
I called you, Chris, and I was just like, is it just me, or is this stuff pretty anticlimactic? I mean, I guess James O'Keefe has got a following in certain circles, and what he does is certainly entertaining. Kind of the same.
Normally,
my kids, do something stupid at the house, but I mean, it's just not a secret that. Guess what? Wait for it. Claire hates gun owners. I mean, she has an incredible record of gun control. It's just like the most obvious thing in the whole world. So.
I think the thing with him is just the whole, obviously the undercover angle, and these people say it, but yeah, you're right. I mean, some of his videos, and to me, this stuff is actually better than some of the other stuff he does on the media. We know the media is all liars. I mean, I guess we know the politicians are too, but I mean, getting inside these campaigns like this.
That's kind of cool.
We've all worked on campaigns before. We know people talk, but now it's like, who's listening? I mean,
I once spent, this is back in my Iowa days, I once spent a good half an hour in the Democrat Party headquarters in downtown Des Moines, Iowa, just walking around, listening to people's conversations, and nobody said a word. They're like, finally, somebody's like, "Can I help you?" I'm like, "No, I'm just here to pick up some yard signs."
Yes.
And they're like, "Oh, well, here, take a big, huge stack."
Years ago, I was out in, was it on the east side of town? Yeah, the east side of town, I guess, at Legends out there, and I think it was the guy that y'all took out in Council Bluffs, whatever the guy's name is, the big dog.
G-Stall.
Yeah, and I was like, I think I was with somebody else, and I was literally sitting at a table next to the guy. I don't know. I didn't glean much, but, I was sitting there listening to the guy. So, I mean, now it's just like you've got little microphones and little cameras, and these politicians, I mean, we know them. We've been around them. A lot of these guys get wasted and just start talking and
That's what was so funny. That's what was so funny in Iowa this year. The Iowa Senate Majority Leader, who was directly working with House pathetic primping ain't easy Matt Winchell to kill constitutional carry. Freaking Bill Dix in 2018 goes to a bar in the middle of the daylight, and he's making out with a lobbyist. And he like never thought that the other 25 people in the bar might have a phone.
Mr. Married to Jerry Dix.
Yeah,
Keep
with a
in
couple
mind.
kids and stuff. And so dumb. You know, but I mean, that video got released at 10:30 on a Monday. And here in Iowa, they don't gavel in till about 1 o'clock on Monday afternoon. They have to drive in about 4 hours, up to 4 hours, you know, one way to get to the Capitol. So, you know, they get going at 1 o'clock, but the video was released at 10:30 or thereabouts, and they had they gabbled in. He wasn't there for that, I'm sure, but they had a caucus meeting immediately thereafter. He walked in and said, "Well, guys, sorry I let you down." Turn around, walked away, left the Capitol, had his crap cleared out. He was gone. I mean, never to be heard from again. You know, it's just like in 3 hours. In 3 hours' time, he went from the most powerful person in Iowa politics to a nobody. So you just, and that's what I gotta be honest. I mean, I love his stuff. I mean, like, I know for a fact that he's not the last one who's going to get his hand in the cookie jar, you know, in the state capitol. And there's a ticking time bomb on all of them, the way it seems.
Yeah.
It is an incredible. Minnesota is just out of control. I mean, Joe Schumacher dropped the other day because his daughters came out and accused him of all sorts of.
They don't call it the knee knocker state for nothing.
That's not funny there. Wow.
Yeah, deviancy. So he dropped out of the race. Rod Hamilton resigned last session. I think he resigned. Maybe he didn't resign after he took some young intern back to his apartment in St. Paul and was.
Oh, he had to resign?
I think he
He's not in
I think he
anymore.
resigned. I'm not.
You got crazy Uncle Tony.
Yeah, you got Tony Cornish. You got.
Stop for just a second. Stop. People need to know this. This is how incestuous the relationships are in state capitals. Tony Cornish is Mr. Charlton Heston, Mr. Gun Guy himself. And you know who he sexted himself out of office with? The person he was sexting with was Bloomberg's lobbyist.
Well, it wasn't just sexting. They were in the office, and he was like putting his hands on her,
putting her up against the wall and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
more than sexting.
You guys think they're there fighting for you? These people only
joke.
He was peddling the Second Amendment issue because it gave him status across the state.
Yeah.
He could give two craps less about it because he was more concerned about getting in the clothes of the Bloomberg lobbyist.
Well, I mean, and he stonewalled Stand Your Ground and constitutional carry for years as the chair of the House Public Safety Committee, all the while pretending to be so pro-gun. It's just outrageous. You know, and then who was the other guy? Dan Schoen, Senator Dan Schoen, radical anti-gunner Dan Schoen. Same thing, was getting all handsy with lobbyists and other lawmakers. He had to resign. It's just a nonstop problem.
And Representative was it Representative Tim Draz's other House district, Tim Scott and Peggy and whatever her name is, that female state rep. She's like a pastor's wife or something. This is back in 2014. Both of those people got kicked out of office too. I mean,
Minnesota.
Happens
Minnesota
everywhere,
nice.
man.
Minnesota way too nice.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's every state
it is.
house.
That's the thing. And Chris made the point. It's not just a funny, humorous side story. This is real life stuff because real people come down to the Capitol with real issues and real concerns. In this case, gun owners, and they say, "Can you help us with this?" And if you don't know any better, they're going to play you for a fool. And oh, absolutely, of course, nod their head 20 times. You know, and people sometimes question why we pick the bill sponsors that we do because they want you to grab like this, the most attractive woman or the most powerful committee chairman. And these people are usually the worst people in the Capitol. And we all, of course we know that, but I still think the worst takedown story of a gun bill that I'm aware of in modern times is certainly has to be out of Michigan.
I was just going to say
the lovely state where Ben's wife is from. We won't blame this on your wife, Ben, but I mean, what was this? 2014, 2015, but Representative Cindy Gamrett, was carrying a bill for this gun group that's never really actually been in Michigan. Maybe they have now. I'm not sure if they're what the deal is there, but she was carrying constitutional carry, and then it comes out that, and she was a brand new freshman. She's an attractive woman. She's a hard charger on all these conservative issues. Everybody loved her. One person loved her in particular, and that was another fresh.
Actually, that would be two people that loved
Well, yeah,
her.
because she was married to a whole bunch of kids, and I mean, she got involved in an affair with a fellow freshman Republican lawmaker, and that's not that unusual. What was unusual was in their desperate attempts to retain power, because it's all about power for these people. They made up this allegation where he self-outed himself as having he was of a homosexual inclination, and they tried to invent this blackmail situation that was going on when they were sending each other these blackmail type emails, and then of course they convinced their staff to lie for him. Oh my gosh, I mean, in national news. He finally resigned. She refused. The sergeant at arms had to take her off the floor. I mean, it was just. So, I mean, the only point here is the obvious when these people are scoundrels, number one. But number two, you shouldn't give them any pity. Don't give these people a time of day. Don't give them an inch. Our job is to boot stomp them until they do what we want them to do. And if they don't want to do it, to try and deal with that at election time. We enjoy the elections for that reason. But we have no respect for these people besides the amount we have to do daily business. But
and I used to be a legislative aide back in the day, and I know these people get excited when they think about coming back into legislative session because a lot of them are just junkyard dogs. They absolutely look forward to getting back to the State House, away from their wife, away from their husband. And getting back on the sauce, going out and twisting on benders every Tuesday night, and cheating like crazy. I mean, we have credible stories, and we're still hunting down the final stuff we need. But we know that there are legislators in Iowa who used to crawl out of windows. Because they were afraid of getting caught by their fellow suitemates. Because
caught with their pants down.
Yeah, literally. I mean, this stuff happens. You name the state, I'll show you the state house where this stuff happens. So